And we're going to get into things on the pregame show right now with the skips, the key players in this game. And I'm looking off camera to see who's first. And it's going to be Bruce Mauat stepping into the spotlight. Bruce, great to see you. Happy New Year. I just said it. We flipped the script to an Olympic year. Does anything change for you guys?
Just a bit more excitement, really. Nothing's going to change on the ice, I don't think. We've used this as a good opportunity to lead in. I think 7 of the 10 teams are playing. So yeah, it's quite exciting that we get very good competition before we head off.
Sounds like you're reading our pregame coverage here, Bruce. 7.
All your notes.
I'm like, now what do I do? No problem at all. Listen, you're taking on Team Shuster to begin. What do you have to do to be successful here tonight?
Well, yeah, both of us made the semi at the last slam, so it's going to be a good battle. We enjoy playing John and the guys. We've played them so many times over the years, so yeah, just going to have to try and get clinical with the ice early, kind of read it pretty well, and try and get on top of them with the hammer early.
How is the ice after your practice last night?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, had a great practice. Got 30 minutes on the sheet. And we kind of knew what stones we were going to take, so we tried to figure them out as well. So yeah, excited for what seems to be good ice and a very good arena.
You guys always have a pregame chat. What did you talk about, Bruce, ahead of this one and just setting the intention? It is 2026 with so much at stake, and I know you guys, for you, it's gold or bust at the games. What did you talk about in today's pregame chat?
Well, we were saying that we just don't want to leave any page unturned. Like, we want to go into the Olympics having spoken about everything that needs to be said. And yeah, we're looking forward to hopefully doing the best we can with that.
Brilliant. Good luck in this game, Bruce.
Thanks.
All right. Bruce Mauat on the pregame show. You can hear it. A little different. Olympic season. Somebody who knows all about that. John Shuster stepping into the spotlight. John, you and I have had a lot of TV time over the last couple of slams. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You get very short time with me right now because practice just started.
I know. We got to hurry. I saw you in the corner of your eye. Quick thoughts going into this final slam, the Players' Championship.
Yeah, no, I think we, have had a great season so far, and it showed at the last slam, and just to carry that momentum forward and keep playing well.
What do you got to do to beat Team Mauat, #1 in the world? They don't leave you a lot of opportunities throughout a game.
And that's exactly it. Is the few opportunities you get from them, you can't make a mistake on those ones, and you got to recognize that. But, we've had some incredible battles with those guys over the last 5 or 6 years, and come out today and have another one of those.
Go practice, John. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks.
John Shuster on the pregame show here as we count down to first rocks here tonight, the opening night in Steinbach. Bruce said it in our interview, 7 of the 10 men's teams competing at the Olympics are here competing this week. 6 of the 10 teams on the women's side in Cortina, right there, you see it, competing here this week. So Team Homan for Canada, Team Yoshimura for Japan, Team Gim for South Korea, Team Hasselborg for Sweden, Team Tiranzoni for Switzerland, and Team Peterson for the United States. And there's the men's team, 7 of the 10. For Canada, Team Jacobs. For China, Team Zhu. You just saw Bruce representing Great Britain. Team Returnez for Italy. Team Adine for Sweden, Team Switzerland's Schwaller, and Danny Casper representing the United States at the Olympics. All of that to say, the best of the best are here ahead of the Olympics. What a week it is going to be here in Steinbach. Listen, at the last slam in Saskatoon, of course, we said goodbye to our dear friend Colleen Jones and partnered with the Canadian Cancer Society. And so we want to remind all of you watching that the Curl for Cancer for Colleen Jones initiative is still underway. We're hoping to raise upwards of $20,000. We're about halfway there. And so scan that QR code. You can donate now in honor of our friend, gone far too soon, Colleen Jones, in partnership with the Canadian Cancer Society. All right, we're going to take a break, and on the other side of the break, we have a lot to get to. We have highlights from earlier today. We'll take a look at the updated standings, albeit early on. 12 of the top women's teams, 12 of the top men's teams, all here, ready to fight it out in Steinbach. All right, we'll take a break. On the other side of the break, a lot more ahead. We'll be back right after this. Teams on the ice, valuable practice time ahead of their first games at the Players' Championship. Team Mauat, Team Shuster, the feature game here tonight. We are into the third draw. Earlier today, we completed the first two draws of the Players' Championship. So why don't we get into some of those highlights? They're going to be fast and furious. So settle in as we take a look at what's happened so far today. Team Waddle out of Scotland needing to make a thin double to get to a draw to the button, the final shot of the game. Look at this. Brilliant for two. It would go to a draw to the button, and Waddle put it right on the lid after making that thin double. Returnaz trying to match him, trying to get this thing to curl, trying to get it to go right on that Crown Royal logo, and just a little wide. Waddle with the draw to the button victory. Okay, Team Schwaller, they've been good, coming off their first slam win ever as a team. Look at this run back, making it look easy for a whole bunch. They go on to win it over Team Adine easily. And Korea's Team Gim going to the Olympics and trying to get this thing headed in the right direction, taking on Team Anderson. That'll do it. Look at that shot. Absolutely brilliant. Team Gim for the win. There's the updated standings so far. Early days at the Players' Championship, but all of these games mean so much. Gim, Hasselborg, Kitazawa, winners so far. Peterson with a last stone draw victory. And on the men's side, Team White, Team Schwaller, Team Zhu, all with victories to begin here. And Waddle with those 2 points with a draw shot win as fans make their way in here. Let me tell you, ticket sales have been extraordinarily strong here. I think everybody in this curling-crazed province thrilled that the Grand Slam of curling is back. 8 years since there's been a slam in Manitoba. They love this sport here, and they are going to be showing up all week at the Southeast Event Center. All right, we got a lot to talk about because the World Curling Federation made a big change to sweeping rules today. We got the perfect person to break it all down for us. Chelsea Carey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, it's great to see you. You're part of the Athletes Commission at World Curling. Big news that we woke up to hear on this side of the pond. It was announced early in Scotland earlier today about prohibited sweeping techniques when it comes to slowing down the rock. You're going to explain all of this to me, but why don't we look at the official communication from World Curling right now and read it, and then I'm going to get you, Chelsea, to make sense of it all for us. So there it is. The prohibited techniques now include this, and it's all about that action of deceleration of the stone. So single brush strokes, standard of knifing orientation using primarily a push motion, single brush strokes that keep the brush on the ice while returning to its original position, and single brush strokes that lift the brush head off the ice before returning to its original position. What, Chelsea?
So basically the intent behind this whole rule is that it's been in the rules for some time that you're not allowed to try to slow a rock down. We've just never really identified the motion that is to do with that. So, you know, what does that mean? What is the motion that tries to slow a rock down? And basically what is being said in this rule is it's that big single push stroke and then a lift, or mostly the push and then kind of a weak pullback. What they're looking for is more of a rhythm. You're still allowed to knife. That's not going away. You're still allowed to sweep to curl. We just don't want that big aggressive stroke and then a lift, and that is the only purpose of that is to slow the rock down. So that's what that rule is to deal with.
Brilliant from you. I think we need to see it though. Ta-da! We enlisted you to go speak to Hammy McMillan Jr., who I believe to be one of the better sweepers on the planet, to give us a bit of a video demonstration about what exactly this looks like, because I think, Chelsea, this is going to be a lot of how you interpret it. So why don't we watch the video and then get a little bit more into this on the other side of that. Let's take a look at this.
Okay, so this week at the Grand Slam of Curling, we have introduced a new sweeping rule. There's been a lot of talk this season about sweeping to slow a rock down, and now this rule has come into place. So I'm here with one of the best sweepers in the world, Hammy McMillan Jr. Hammy, talk about this rule. Why is it being brought into play, and what does it mean?
Yeah, personally, I think it's been a long time coming, this rule, to be honest. The whole idea of being able to slow a stone down, I don't think should be part of the game. That includes like dumping aspect of the game as well. And then also now this slow carve, as people are calling it.
Awesome, sounds great. Well, we're going to get you to show us what's allowed and what's not allowed.
See, I've never done the slow carve, so this could be embarrassing for myself. My interpretation is that anything slow and that movement there and back, or even if it's still on the ice, but predominantly
The
forward movement is trying to slow the stone down, which is now deemed illegal by World Curling.
Right.
Anything, in my opinion, which is legal is finishing away from the stone.
Yeah.
I think anything that finishes in front of the stone or the directions where the stone is going, on the path the stone is going, is deemed to be trying to slow the stone down.
So we can't finish on the push stroke. It has to be the pull stroke. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's brilliant stuff from you. So again, I think what fans really need to pay attention to, from what I'm hearing from you, is that it's all about how that brush stroke finishes. Is how I'm hearing you guys explain and show it.
Yeah, so when we talk about the push stroke, that's the more powerful part of a sweeping stroke. It's that forward motion, and you can put more of your body weight on top of that. But if you lift after that, then there's potential for dumping some stuff in front of the rock. And even if you don't, you're lifting in the path the rock is going. So that finishing away is mostly what the rule is trying to accomplish.
Chelsea, you are on the Athletes Commission. The sense I get, and you hear Hammy say long overdue. So obviously this was brewing and bubbling in the background to the point where World Curling, the Athletes Commission, the athletes felt something needed to be done to address it.
Yeah, it's rare to see a rule change this close to the Olympics. I don't think we've ever actually seen that before, and it was just because the voices of the athletes were that loud that something had to change, that we needed to get rid of this. It's not a good look. It's not within keeping of sort of the integrity of the game was the general opinion that we heard, and so we went to World Curling with that, and they agreed, and here we are.
Here we are, and I think the other big part of this is that now it sort of is the onus falls on the umpire to keep a keen eye on all of this. The first infraction, as I understand it, Chelsea, there will be a warning to the team, and then any infraction after that, you're going to have that rock pulled. I think there are a lot of people maybe thinking about how aggressive are those umpires going to get? How are they going to be able to police that? This could play a big factor at the Olympics, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think what we're going to see, it's nice this week that we sort of get to test it. And all the teams here have been made aware of that, and everyone was in agreement. There was very little pushback as far as that rule being in place because the players did want this. So I think what we're going to see is it just is not going to happen very much. But at the Olympics, some of those teams are not part of these events and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see there, and we're in full officiated play there versus here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think as it is hard to enforce, but so are a lot of rules in curling. It just needed to be a rule so that at least you have a leg to stand on to go to an official and say, hey, this isn't allowed and we just saw this other team do it, or to go to the team and say, you know, you're not allowed to do that.
Brilliant stuff. This is why we pay you the big bucks, Chels. Listen, we're going to take a break, and then on the other side of the break, you, Kirk Myers, and I are going to have a conversation about tonight's feature game and all the buzz in the curling world, because it is an Olympic season. It is a prestigious Players' Championship, and we got a lot to talk about. So let's take a break, and on the other side, we'll tee up the feature game here tonight. Team Shuster, Team Mauat, and all things curling as we flip the calendar to 2026. Back right after this. Welcome back inside the Southeast Event Center, Steinbach, Manitoba, the last stop on the Grand Slam of curling season. You see our broadcast position inside this beautiful facility. Hi again, curling fans, as we count down to First Rocks, our feature game here tonight. Team Mauat, of course, getting ready, to play in this event and then go to the Olympics a month from now, and Team Shuster knows all about the Olympics 2018 champions. Let's take a look as you watch that rock. Of course, they're drawing to see who gets hammer, last stone draw. Let's take a look at their records at the Grand Slam of curling this season. You're going to see a big number for Team Mauat and a bit of a smaller number for Team Shuster. They've only played in one slam. That was the last stop in Saskatoon. Shuster making it all the way to the semifinal, a 4-2 record there. And Bruce Mauat, 21-5, played in all 4 slams, has won 2 of them. And you heard on the pregame show that they seem pretty dialed in about wanting to win this one here and get this ship headed in the right direction as they go into the Olympics. So there are the numbers as we set the scene and look at the Team Mauat shot. And guess what? Perhaps to nobody's surprise, fist bumps, they put it right on the button. So Team Mauat is going to start with the hammer. We'll go back up to the booth. Kirk Myers and Chelsea Carey. I think John Cullen is causing issues up in the comment. Leave it to John Cullen to get in the way. You guys are having way too much fun. I think the air is thinner up in the gondola here at the Southeast Event Center as we say good evening, Kirk Myers and Chelsea Carey, the two who will take us through tonight's game. Kirk, we just saw it there. Team Mauat going to start with the hammer, and in an 8-end game, that seems to be a big deal. Thoughts from you?
In a normal game, that's a daunting task, but against a team like Mauat, Shuster has an uphill battle with that. We all know how good Mowat's been over the last few years, and when they get that hammer, they seem like they have control of those stones. They're going to keep control of this game, and then Schuster's going to have to shoot the lights out to kind of get to that, get to the top of the hill.
Got to wrestle that hammer away early. Chelsea, I've talked to Bruce over so many years at so many slams and other events. He seemed more intense and ready to go. Something in the air. The Olympics looming, the Players' Championship. I don't know about you, but for me, this feels different.
Yeah, I agree. And I heard him use the word clinical. And if I was playing against Bruce Mauat, if they get clinical, you're in big trouble. So that gave me chills a little bit when he said, we got to get clinical with the ice here. And I've never heard him talk. Bruce is one of the most laid back people you could ever meet. And it did feel like there was just that little bit more intensity in his voice.
Kirk, you would have heard some of the buzz and conversations around the sweeping changes. We got great stuff from Chelsea. Over to you for some thoughts on what we should be watching for in these sweeping changes.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from Chelsea, too. She seems like she's the expert on the subject, so it was a nice move to throw it up to her and not to me, I'll tell you that. But I think, it's been well received by the players. I don't think any player out on this ice this week is complaining about that rule change. I think it's what the players wanted, and I think it's in benefit of the game, and I think that just shows the spirit of the curlers that we have in the Grand Slam of curling. They want what's best for the game, and they knew that wasn't the best thing for curling, and here we are, and I think everyone's really happy with the decision, and honestly, I just don't even think you're going to see it out here, even being tested at all at the Grand Slam or even the Olympics for that matter. I think curling's a ladies and gentlemen sport, and I think we're going to see more of that in the next few weeks with this rule change.
The spirit of curling. Leave it up to the curlers to police himself, Kirk. All right, Chelsea, it is the Players' Championship, the prestigious event, the last stop on the Grand Slam of curling season. How badly do these teams want this one?
Everybody this is the penultimate slam, and the slams are sort of the penultimate anyway because it's best on best, and that's just the reality. So everyone wants this a little more, and those teams that are going to the Olympics, this event is usually in April. So it would be post-Olympics, post-Worlds. Now, you've not only got the Players' Championship, but you've got it as your event leading right into those Olympics. So for a team like Bruce Mauat, this event is massive. They want this more than anybody, and Team Shuster is known for being a giant killer, so they will want this just just as much.
Got some goosebumps down here. It's bumping already. We're just getting started. And you hear Pierce's voice. That means we're close to first rocks. Chelsea, Kirk, have a great call. Of course, we'll be wrapping this thing up at the end of all of it. First rocks, straight ahead. You can watch every rock on rockchannel.com from start to finish. We're settling in for Tuesday night in Steinbach, the feature game. Team Mauat versus Team Shuster. We'll be back with First Rocks right after this.